Hello everyone and welcome to my second video of art tutorial slash blog slash commentary. If you have not seen my first episode, I would recommend doing so because it explains a lot of the process of what I do and also the overall vibe of this channel. So with that being out of the way, let's begin. This episode will be a bit shorter than the last one because the style of this picture is a lot less detailed than the first one. The things that I'm cutting out are a bit bigger, so I'm cutting out less, which means there's less time in this video. Now, with that done, I would like to explain the difference in this one and the first one, as opposed to the complexity. So the first one had a lot of detail that I was cutting out. This one, however, doesn't have as much detail, but I will be using more than one color to paint with, because the first one was just black paint on white piece of paper. Now this one, you can't see it yet because I'm only cutting out the black parts of the picture, but at around the 4-minute mark, it'll transition to cutting out the white pieces. And so pretty much what I'm going to be doing is I'll be painting the black, and then I'll be painting the red and then the white. I don't know if it's actually in that order, but pretty much the gist of it is that I'll be using multiple different colors, and yeah, that's all you'll have to know really. If you're doing this yourself, you really have to pay attention to what colors you do first and which one's next and which one's last. But for those of us watching for the aspect of Persona 5, we can begin with that. So chances are you clicked on this because maybe you like Persona 5, but for those of us who have no idea what it's about, I'll just give a quick rundown of what the game is about. So Persona 5 is about these high schoolers who gain the ability to make these bad guys confess their sins to the public, and they start out with this small bad guy, and then they work their way up and they gain popularity and power. So that's pretty much the rundown, because if I were to explain any more, it'd get really complicated. So you may notice that a lot of people really love this game, and I was thinking before I played it, like, why do all these people love this game? My friends were all into it. They all treated it as a 10 out of 10 game and not some like, oh yeah, it was pretty good. So since I've played it already, I'm going to give a rundown of why I think it's so good. My first thing I would say would be the characters. That's the major thing for me why I really liked it. The characters were, I'm not going to say all of them enjoyable, but most of them I really liked interacting with. There's this mechanic in the game where you hang out with different characters, and hanging out with them boosts their power. And yeah, sorry, I'm just getting lost in what I haven't explained in this very vast game. So the characters are enjoyable, you learn their strengths and their weaknesses, and you develop a bond with them over time. And whether it's hanging out with Ryuji or hanging out with this little boy and being like a mentor figure for him, it's just really enjoyable. Now, moving off of the characters, I would say the music is super enjoyable. It's really unique, and just it's flashy but not obnoxious, and I don't think I can think of one song that I did not enjoy. Now, moving on, I would say the style, the artistic style, would be the third selling point of the game. It's flashy without being obnoxious, just like the music. It has that red and black color scheme that just looks really cool. Seeing a character perform their all-out attack never gets old, and it's just really fun to see this almost comic-like game come to life. Now, the gameplay and the plot are alright. Like, the gameplay was fun. Like, I wasn't bored doing the gameplay. It was fun, but the plot was just, it existed. because it wasn't really about the destination. It was about the journey through the characters. Now, the last aspect of the game I would like to address that I enjoyed is the sense of immersion that the game gives off. So whether it's going through that super annoying subway station in the first level, or hearing the kids gossip or whisper to each other in the hallways, or also the most potent thing I can think of was the villain of the first chapter. Now, the first villain wasn't some guy who's taking over the world with some grand scheme. He's just some coach who's abusing his students, and it's a problem that we would see in real life. Now, taking over the world, not so much, but some teacher abusing his kids, like that's something that's a real problem. And it's really nice because it serves as a call to action, saying, hey, people who are playing this, like, you can do something about it even if you don't have these superpowers. And I really liked that about the game. So to conclude this commentary portion, I would just recommend playing it, maybe buying it for the 20 bucks on the PlayStation Store, or just finding a friend who owns it and borrowing it from them. With that being said, we're coming to the conclusion of this episode. So I would like to take this time to open it up to you, the viewer. If you have any questions for me, feel free to ask. Maybe it's something like, hey, how do I do this? Or how would you recommend I do that? I'd love to answer it. Hey, maybe it's not even something related to this art in general. I'd love to answer it. If you have any feedback from me, I'd love to hear it as well, because if there's anything that I can do to improve the way I make these videos, I would love to do them. I'm totally new at this, second episode and all. And with that being said, I have some questions for you guys. If you guys have played Persona 5, who is your favorite character? Who is your favorite boss fight? Or what was your favorite boss fight? And lastly, what was your favorite palace? I'd have to say I liked the Ark. That was pretty fun. We are now at the end of the video, so thank you very much for sticking with it to the end, and I hope you have an awesome day and make something great. Goodbye.